5 anti-abortion activists could spend up to 11 years in prison.
Lauren Handy and 4 co-defendants were found guilty just 2 hours ago for conspiring to block access to the Washington Surgery Clinic in Northwest D.C. That is illegal under the Freedom of Access to Clinic Entrances Act.
Yeah, our Jordan Fisher was inside the court today for this verdict. He joins us live outside of there now with much more.
And I guess, Jordan, the first thing we maybe should start with is viewers may remember this lead defendant, Lauren Handy, as the woman who was reported having had fetal remains in her Capitol Hill apartment last year. Did any of that come into the trial?
That's right, Leslie. None of that got into trial, although her defense attorneys fought very hard to get it in. They argued that it spoke to her state of mind. They argued that it proved that she was there not to violate the FACE Act, that's the federal law that protects entrances to clinics, but rather because she believed that there were children who were at risk and that she was going in to try to save their lives. That didn't get in. In fact, no evidence came in of any unlawful conduct on the part of the clinic or its operator. And that really hamstrung the defense a little bit and ultimately may have contributed to the guilty verdict we saw today.
I think in the end this case is far from over. Ms. Handy is a person who has the courage of her convictions, willing to do time, obviously doesn't want to do time. And while she will fight on, we intend to fight on as well at the Thomas More Society.
Yeah, that was Handy's attorney, Steve Crampton, talking about the posture that they're in going forward and how they're looking at, already looking at appeals and looking at trying to get Handy and her co-defendants out of jail. They were actually stepped back today and taken out of the courtroom in handcuffs.
With that said, how were prosecutors able to prove this case? How did they get these guilty convictions?
When you think about a conspiracy case, the prosecutors really had a lot to work with here. They had testimony from a co-conspirator who said that she participated in a meeting the night before in which Lauren Handy discussed the plan and even discussed the statute, the FACE Act, that they might be violating. They had a surveillance video, they had body-worn camera video, they had video filmed by the defendants themselves, and perhaps most compellingly, they had testimony from 2 patients who told the jury that they were physically obstructed from entering the clinic for their appointments that day.
All right, so we've heard that the courtroom was packed for this whole trial. I guess we're wondering, what was the reaction when that verdict was read?
I think it was stunned silence at first. I'm not sure any of the supporters expected a guilty verdict across the board, but as the defendants, who, as I said, were stepped back, were being led out of the courtroom in handcuffs, they began to yell out gestures of support. They called them heroes. They said, "I loved you," and they came out of court. Outside of court here today, they held a press conference. They vowed that their fight would go on as members of the anti-abortion movement. As far as her attorneys go, they're already looking towards appeal and, as I said, trying to get them back out of jail as they fight this conviction.
Yeah, we wondered what the verdict was going to be. We knew they weren't going to be in the court yesterday for certain reasons, and they were coming back today. And so to see this happen now, it is something interesting to watch for sure. All right, thank you.